Hi, I am Dr. Julie Thompson, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction for West Plains Public Schools. I wish to welcome you to the West Plains Schools Reading and Math Training for Elementary and Middle School Substitute Teachers. At West Plains Public Schools, we expect all efforts in our district to focus on student learning. As a substitute teacher, you are expected to carry on with the academic program. The following training will focus on understanding and implementing the elementary reading program Journeys and the elementary math program Everyday Math. Our examples today are taken from Grade 2, Unit 2, Lesson 6 from the Journeys Teacher's Manual and from the Grade 4, Unit 8, Lesson 1 from the Everyday Math Teacher's Manual. At the beginning of each teacher's manual, you will find the specific unit number, the table of contents, and a description of the lesson. On the example that I've given you here, you can see that we are in Lesson 6 of Unit 2. Every textbook or teacher's manual from grades K through 6 has a similar layout. The really great thing about this particular series is that it includes lessons and ideas for all levels of readers. You can see from this example at the bottom of the page, we have a key for struggling readers, on-level readers, advanced readers, English language learners, and tested skills. On Lesson 6, we begin with phonemic awareness. We follow to target vocabulary, target skills, research skills, media literacy for listening and speaking. We then have grammar emphasis and ideas for differentiating among the different levels of readers. For each of the lessons in our series, we will have a focus wall. So when you enter the classroom, if you happen to be in a classroom which has a reading emphasis, you will want to look around to see where the teacher has displayed this focus wall. Every one is very similar in that it contains the big idea, the essential question the students are trying to explore for the week, areas of comprehension, phonics, fluency, the vocabulary which is targeted for the stories of the week, a grammar section, a writing section, vocabulary strategies for students to understand and decode words, the spelling lists for the students for the week, and high frequency words. In this example that I'm showing you on this slide, you can see that we have on the spelling section all of the new basic spelling words for the week, along with some review words and some extra words for challenge for those students who wish to go above and beyond. The phonics which are studied this week are the common final blends in words. The target vocabulary is very important in that it allows the student to better understand what they are going to read before they actually engage in the reading process. Another element that you will find in our reading series is the Teacher Read Aloud. Teacher Read Alouds demonstrate the power of stories. They show students the ways that involvement with text engages us. We give them energy for learning how reading works. By showing them how to search for meaning, we introduce strategies of understanding we can reinforce in shared reading, guided reading, and independent small group reading. Marie Claire wrote in 1991 that when teachers read aloud to students, meanings can be negotiated in discussion before, during, and after the story reading. Reading aloud to students should include think aloud or interactive elements and focus intentionally on the meaning within the text, about the text, and beyond the text. Read aloud as part of the gradual release of responsibility feeds naturally into shared, guided, and independent reading as teachers demonstrate for students the ways the reading process works. Studies have shown that reading comprehension and vocabulary knowledge are strongly correlated, and researchers have found that word knowledge in primary school can predict how well students will be able to comprehend texts as they read in high school. Limited vocabularies prevent students from comprehending a text. The great thing about Journeys 2011 is that each lesson introduces vocabulary in a unique and special way. You can see that in this particular lesson, we teach vocabulary in context. On the left side of the page, there are 4 steps. You will display vocabulary context cards which are available for each lesson. Read and pronounce the word. Explain the word, what does it mean? Discuss the vocabulary in context, and then engage with the word. At the bottom you can see if we have students who have not only ELL needs, but perhaps they're having difficulty with understanding the words, there are some strategies that can be used for beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high readers. This slide shows an example of what those vocabulary words look like. On one side you find the word and its use in a sentence, and on the back there are extra activities for students to use. When educators talk about phonics, they're referring to the explicit teaching of the relationships between phonemes, which are the sounds of language, and graphemes, which are the written representations of language, so that students can decode or sound out words. While it's true that most of us do memorize whole words on occasion, it would be impossible for us to memorize every single word in the English language. So we must learn how to break words down so that we can decode them. In this page that you see in front of you, there is a phonics lesson on day one for the whole group, which focuses on words with common final blends. If this particular lesson is left in the lesson plan book for you to teach, you can see that there is an example for you to teach and model. It shows the sound spelling card. It tells the teacher exactly what to say. It tells the teacher exactly what to write, and so on. The next slide shows guided practice. Guided practice is a strategy where students are led through an activity by the teacher in the classroom. You can also see on this slide, directly from the teacher's manual on page T19, the workbook pages or the independent practice book pages from the student's workbook. This particular example shows common final blends, and it actually gives the answer for the teacher to guide the student. Using decodable, sequenced phonics readers are vital to reading success. As students learn the phonetic codes, they apply the skills to reading as they are taught. This example shows the decodable reader for Lesson 6. The story is Read a Job for Bob. In order to understand language, the child must have some background knowledge to use as a reference for interpreting new information. Moreover, if the child is expected to understand something specific, the background knowledge that he or she has must be relevant to what she is expected to understand. Background knowledge activities focus on helping the child connect new information about the world with what the child already knows. Activities that focus on enhancing background knowledge help children to see how they can incorporate their life experiences into their classroom lessons. Further, background knowledge activities can help a child to see how to make use of and apply information in different situations. Reading comprehension is composed of 2 equally important components: decoding, or the ability to translate text into speech, is only part of the process of reading comprehension. The other part is language comprehension, or the ability to understand the spoken language. all struggling readers have difficulty with either language comprehension or decoding or both. In this comprehension activity, we are focusing on text and graphic features. Teachers can help motivate students to learn by activating prior knowledge and pre-teaching difficult concepts and vocabulary before starting a new unit. Pre-reading activities may be designed to motivate student interest, to activate prior knowledge, or to pre-teach potentially difficult concepts and vocabulary. Each week, we have a lesson where we introduce the selection or the story. As you can see from this example, the story is Animals Building Homes by Wendy Perkins. Teaching grammar is an important part of any quality curricula. This great reading series has grammar lessons each week. This particular lesson focuses on more plural nouns. Reading and writing go hand in hand. In this lesson, we write to inform. At the top, the text shows you how to teach and model the lesson, and at the bottom of the page, it shows you how to guide the students through application. Text fluency is reading text with speed, accuracy, and proper expression. Expressing oneself smoothly, easily, and readily, and having freedom from word identification problems, and freedom from dealing with words and larger language units with quickness. This particular lesson on fluency focuses on expression. Writing and reading are closely related, and some would say inseparable. Better writers tend to be better readers, and better readers produce better writing. In this text, we have several lessons which focus on writing. This particular one is about writing to inform. At the beginning of this webinar, I spoke to you briefly about the ability to differentiate for the special needs of children. Small group instruction allows you to place students where they may learn best. If the teacher leaves a lesson plan for small group instruction, you may refer to this page in the text to better understand how each small group plan might look. This is an example of how you might work with an advanced group of students. Not only do we differentiate for reading group instruction, but we may also differentiate for all elements of the reading line, including comprehension. Finally, we look at our leveled readers. Leveled readers allow us to place students where they can best learn. We have leveled readers for each of the 4 groups mentioned earlier.